One.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome once again, brothers and sisters, to another episode of 5 Minutes of Faith, the 5 Minutes of Benefit. Tonight, alhamdulillah, we've been blessed with a very special guest. Alhamdulillah, a brother in Islam, an elder, inshallah, a teacher, an instructor. We have Sensei, Master Ali Kareem, or Abdul Kareem. And I'm not going to take the mic too much. We're going to let him explain his art, his science, and what he does. But what we want to talk about, Sheikh, on the show today is the concept of the hadith. That the Prophet ﷺ says, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ إِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. The Prophet tells us that the strong man is not the one who can toss and overthrow other men, but it's the one who controls himself at the time of anger. So we want you to shed some light on this hadith based off of your science. But before that, if you would be kind enough to tell us a little bit about yourself, what got you involved in this, what is the exact name of your science, how long you've been practicing it and teaching it, and a few of your experiences. And last but not least, we want to talk about the importance of martial arts, what Muslims can take from martial arts in general and from your science specifically. So without further ado, we'll let the Shaykh start, inshallah.
Well, I've been studying the martial arts over 45 years.
Alhamdulillah.
And I started at the age of 18. And it was, basically with some neighborhood friends of mine. You're talking about it in the 70s, about 70, no, not 70, excuse me, in the 60s, about 68. And, martial arts during that time was like a real strange, mystique type of system that everybody weren't into. My friends, they studied Shotokan with another teacher. And what they used to do is they used to come and then they used to go over stuff that they were learning with myself. And so I started out in the form of Shotokan.
Okay.
As I branched out, there was a school right outside where I lived. I lived in the Redwood Projects. And there was a school right outside on the outskirts of the projects, and it was ran by old Sensei Ronald Duncan, who is presently deceased.
Okay.
Right, and he was my first formal teacher.
Okay.
The system that I was under was the ninjutsu. Ninja. They talk about the ninjas, or the formal name is Shinobi no Jitsu. The art of the shadow warrior. And then, from there, and I branched out. Now, I've come across many other systems, Japanese and Chinese systems, and from him, I learned a great deal of fighting, the art of fighting in different forms, and also a vast number of weaponry.
Okay.
Ancient and contemporary weapons. And that's the thing. Now,
So the name of your specific art is Shinobi Ninjutsu.
You're right. The formal name is Shinobi no Jitsu.
Shinobi no Jitsu.
Right. And the contemporary name is Ninjutsu.
Ninjutsu.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
But the proper term is Shinobi no Jitsu.
Right. And
okay.
people are familiar mostly with ninjutsu, because they've seen in the seminar,
media,
ninjas and so forth and so on. It's a practical form of fighting.
Okay.
In all martial arts, like you had quoted the hadith. It's a strong hadith. It's a hadith that really lays much weight in terms of how I approach things. I try to approach things based on my art in the Quranic and from the Sunnah. And the idea of being composed, even in fighting, even in battle.
Controlling yourself. And
absolutely.
Not going and following your desires and your rage.
Exactly, and not being aggressive, because being aggressive, you lose control. And the Prophet remember, the hadith says, when the man came, he tells him, he asked him for advice, and he said, do not get angry.
Just that one sentence, that's what
one sentence 3 times, do not get angry, do not get angry. And then as the information in terms of the Islamic knowledge about that expounds on it, they say the Prophet mentioned anger diminishes faith and other things, and when you lose control in that sense, then you have no composure. And in martial arts, it's the same thing. It's not about being passive, but it's being in control. Controlling the situation.
So there's a balance. The Muslim is not to be weak or passive, nor is he just be aggressive and lose control of himself. So in your years of experience, Sensei, I mean, do you think martial arts is something that is beneficial for the Muslims?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I always tell the brothers, I said, training, and fighting, the art of fighting has been prescribed. It's a divine description. As I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He has prescribed fighting for you. So under those guys, that's the way I respond to it. And then when you see that the Messenger of Allah, the people train, in the masjid, sword play and spear play and things of that nature, and he would say things about Salman Farsi. Go to him. He knows fighting. He knows warfare. So these are things that's part of our makeup. You see, our whole instance is that I told the brothers. I said, martial arts for a Muslim, it develops a sense of courage, so that courage allows you to say, I don't fear anybody but Allah. And you can see in the Quran it says that they ought to fear Allah like they fear men. Understand? And that's the thing. So when you develop a sense of fighting where you don't feel that you don't feel victimized, or you don't feel that you're in a weak state, and that you can feel that like it's not that you're going around, there's no arrogance involved.
But it's not weakness or passiveness.
That's right.
Okay, now not to cut you off, Sensei, but one of the concepts I would like to ask you about, one of the things that I enjoy in martial arts is the balance. Okay, it's the physical aspect, the mental aspect, and spiritual aspect. We as Muslims, faith is comprehensive to statements, to actions, and to belief. So I mean, just the whole concept of controlling yourself, but not being weak, learning inwardly and outwardly in the discipline. I mean, there's several hadith that support that. But the thing that I really want to focus on was something that many people suffer from, and that is anger. And all types of things, as you know, happen as a cause of anger. A man divorces his wife, and he says, I was angry. Okay, a man may kill or commit murder, which is a major sin in Islam, based off of anger. So, in my humble opinion, if a person, if he got nothing else from the arts, specifically art, except for just control of himself, I mean, I feel that's a great accomplishment. Could you expound on that?
Well, there's a thing in the arts where you make assessments. In other words, make an assessment means that when you're confronted with a hostile situation, how can I diffuse this? It's not always in a point where you want to feed into the tension and the conflict. It's first and foremost to diffuse the situation.
Diffuse the situation, right. to stop the fitna.
Exactly.
The aggression, and then
because you have nothing to prove. In other words, martial art, as Islam teaches us, it builds that self-esteem. So I have nothing to prove because I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I have nothing to prove.
So sincerity also.
Sincerity is the key.
Not showing off and just
exactly.
Okay, another concept, Sheikh, that is Islamic is the concept of tawadu, humility. The Prophet ﷺ tells us in authentic hadith, "Inna Allah awha ilayya an tawadu," that Allah has told me to humble yourselves. And the Prophet tells another authentic hadith that you know of, that whoever humbles himself, Allah will raise him. So what are some of the concepts of humility, being a master at an art, practicing for 45 years, but sometimes mashallah, we sit back and we see you and you're humble. Boast and pridefully throw yourself on your students. How does it, how important is humility in your art?
Because humility promotes sensitivity. And when you promote sensitivity, you have this idea of others. You have a consideration for others. Even a certain matter of a person that is hostile towards you. The whole idea is to try to see how you can keep that person from harming you, others, and himself, if possible. Because in the midst of the situation, once fighting has ensued, that person can get seriously hurt if that be the case, or he can hurt somebody else. So that's the thing. So my thing is that I have sensitivity. That makes me even more good because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that the soul is sacred. Do not do not harm, do not kill the soul that He has made sacred. And that's not exclusive for Muslims. That's for everybody.
Right. You don't have the right to just kill anyone recklessly
and to damage them. So that's where the humility comes in, because you begin to know more about yourself, and you tap into your immortality, not immortality. I mean your mortality.
That you're a human being.
That you're human.
You're a weak slave.
And, right. And you have these imperfections and so forth. So that's once you do that, then you transfer that to others. So that humility makes you, because first of all, like you said, when we humble ourselves, we lower ourselves to our Lord. And to lower ourselves to our Lord, we walk the street. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who walk through the land or on earth. That's right, exactly. So these basic concepts, they translate, they complement the martial arts.
So you would definitely advise Muslims to have some type of awareness of martial arts in general.
Oh, absolutely, man. Because again, as I tell my students presently, that the violence is going to increase, and we know that from the Quran and the Sunnah. When people don't have guidance, when people are left to their own whims, and all the things, all the negative things that the world is being bombarded, the masses of people are being bombarded with in the media, in the movies, and the video games. It's all about violence, man.
All based on violence.
And based on destruction rather than construction. So being that we live in this world, now you and I, when we leave the house, no one has to be afraid of us in any respect. We're not going to harm nobody. We're not going to hurt nobody. We're going to rob nobody. But the point is that the evil in others,
it may not be the same with others.
That's right. So we have to prepare ourselves.
Protect yourself.
Exactly.
That's right.
And defend. And so I say martial art gives you at least that type of edge.
Right. Being ready. For someone else that's not abiding by the Islamic character.
Exactly. And like I teach my students to not only to respond to an actual attack, but to sense one. To use
intuition now.
Intuition, perception.
That's another Islamic concept.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Seeing ahead.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Islam builds on that. And that's why I take these concepts from Islam. Before I was Muslim, I was practicing. When I became Muslim, it refined.
Allah Akbar. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. I'm very grateful that you gave us the opportunity to be bothered in class. May Allah continue to bless you, allow people to learn from you, and bless you. Brothers and sisters, until the next episode, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Wa anta fa jazakumullahu khair. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair.